Imagine lying flat on your stomach, under your own bed, on your wedding night, and hearing someone systematically destroy every belief you had about your marriage. That's exactly where Chloe was. She had hidden there as a playful surprise for her new husband. But the person who walked in wasn't Jacob. It was a woman in red heels with a spare key she was never supposed to have, making a phone call that was never meant to be heard. And on the other end of that call, a grandmother already planning the name of a baby boy, Jacob's baby boy, with another woman, already born, the same Jacob who waited 2 hours in a blizzard to bring her cronuts, the same Jacob who said he wanted to wait for the perfect wedding night. Every single tender memory she had, now rewritten in real time from under the bed into the coldest con she never saw coming. The house, the money, her parents' entire fortune. They had a plan for all of it. What Chloe did with what she heard that night, that's where this story truly begins. The lesson here is simple and devastating. Love is not always what it looks like, but your response to betrayal is entirely yours to own. Like this video if you felt that. Share it with someone who's ever been blindsided. Comment your thoughts. I want to hear them. And subscribe, because every story we bring you here is worth staying for. This content was manually researched, developed, and edited by our team, crafted with purpose, to bring you meaning and real-life lessons worth carrying with you.
The clock on the dashboard glows, each minute a tiny blade against my skin. I can almost hear the music from here, and I picture her smiling, holding a glass of champagne that costs more than my rent. His mother sits beside me, a statue of false piety. She smells like drugstore lavender. One text from him, and the future we've bled for either solidifies or shatters. $10 million. I say the words in my head until they lose all meaning. It's not for the house or the clothes. It's for my son. It's the price of his life. He told me once he waited for her in a snowstorm, a stupid, romantic gesture. Now I'm the one in the dark with a key, waiting to burn her perfect world to the ground. I picture her laughing, oblivious. She probably thinks he's just nervous. That kind of innocence is a disease, and I am the cure. Come on, just leave. I stare at my phone, willing it to light up. Every second he spends playing the happy groom feels like a betrayal. The text arrives. Now. My heart kicks hard against my ribs. Relief tastes like stomach acid. I'm out of the car and moving. There's no turning back. The air in her house smells like money and clean linen. Nothing like my apartment, which always has the faint, sweet smell of baby powder and desperation. I'm standing in her closet now, touching her silk dresses. A bitter heat rises in my throat. This is all mine. She's just borrowing it. He calls her naive. That's not the word. She's a child who has never been hungry. She has no idea what a starving woman will do for a meal. It's almost time to make the call. My hand is shaking so badly I can barely hold the phone. Breathe, I tell myself. This is for him, for our son. I have to hand it to his mother. The performance she gave that girl, the loving future mother-in-law, was flawless. We are a family of actors. They bought the whole story. The simple country boy, the humble mother. We're not humble. We're predators who have finally cornered our prey. It was his idea that I call his mother Mom. A sick little twist of the knife that makes this all feel so much more real. Our little secret. She's a doll in a glass house, and we're about to throw the first stone. Sometimes, for a second, I feel a pang of something ugly, like pity. I swallow it down. My son's face floats in my mind. He deserves this. Her money isn't just money. It's his future, his education, his entire life. She owes him that. He said the deed is still in her name, but not for long. I just have to trust him, to believe he can keep playing the part without losing himself in it. A healthy boy. I remember the doctor saying it and the wave of pure, savage love I felt. I'd do anything for him, and I am. Giving me a key to her house was his promise. Every time I see her stupid, trusting face in photos, I feel a surge of power. She handed me the weapon herself. I wonder if he looks at himself in the mirror and sees what I see, a king in disguise, waiting to claim his throne. He said she'd buy any excuse about security for the paperwork. Her love for him is her biggest weakness. It's the door we're walking right through. He tried to tell me once that half would be enough. I shut that down. It has to be all or nothing. We have to erase her completely. His mother said it best. Chloe is a temporary inconvenience. My son is the bloodline. She is just the bridge to his birthright. The plan has to look like an accident. The thought sits cold and heavy in my gut, but I've made my peace with it. We deserve a clean slate. I heard a recording of his vows. I will cherish you. The words made me want to vomit. I hate that he has to say them. I hate her for hearing them. He should be on his way up by now. My part is over. Now I just have to wait, hidden in the shadows of her own home. I hear the door and he's there. He finds me in the master bedroom, and the look on his face is pure fury. "What the hell are you doing?" he hisses. I start to complain, my voice a childish whine I know he hates. He pulls me close, his touch automatic, whispering promises to keep me quiet. I murmur our son's name. It's my trump card, always. "I know, baby," he says, his voice strained as he talks to his mother on the phone. My part is done. He has to go back. I know this, but I hate it. I hate sharing. "I know, Mom," he says into the phone and hangs up, his eyes avoiding mine. I ask him if he's going to sleep in this bed tonight, a stupid, needy question. "Hush, baby," he says, and it's not comforting. It's a command. He promises me Aspen, a future, a life. He's dangling my whole world in front of my face, and I'm desperate enough to grab for it. He pulls away. I have to go. The panic is immediate. "Leave nothing," he orders, and suddenly the enormous risk of this feels like I'm drowning. I saw a pink handbag in her closet. I want it. "Why just one?" he asks, a slick smile on his face. "Soon they'll all be yours." And I have to believe him. I slip out the back as he heads downstairs to play drunk. I imagine her father clapping his shoulder, and I hope he feels nothing but ice in his veins. The thought of him touching her, even to pretend, makes me physically sick. He promised he'd sleep on the couch. He promised. Does he think of me when she looks at him? Is my name a ghost on his lips? The jealousy is a living thing inside me. His plan is to be the passed-out groom. It's smart. No one would ever suspect the harmless drunk of being a predator. They all think he's just some simple guy who hit the jackpot. They have no idea he is the jackpot and he belongs to me. I'm back in my car, parked down the street, watching the lights in the house. The first night of our new life is beginning, and it's built on a perfect, beautiful lie. I think of our son, of the $10 million, and I push the guilt down until I can't feel it anymore. He chose me. That's all that matters. I imagine them laughing as they drag him to the room, her room. I hope he keeps his eyes closed. I hope he's thinking of me. The shame should be hers, not his. "He's all yours." I can almost hear them yell it, shoving him toward her. I picture him collapsing on that pristine bed, a Trojan horse in her perfect city. I bet she rushes to his side, all fluttering hands and fake concern. Her kindness is more repulsive than any cruelty. I need him to see it, to hate it. They'll close the door and leave them alone. And I'll be out here, in the dark, imagining the silence, praying he remembers who he's really doing this for. All night I pictured him lying next to her. I'd marked him with my scent before he left, a claim she couldn't possibly miss, a warning. He swore he wouldn't touch her, but I know him. This whole ridiculous plan rested on his nerve, and I was terrified he would break. "My husband," I whispered to myself in the empty apartment. He just had to pretend with her a little longer. He chose me. He chose our baby. The sun rose and my phone was still dark, my stomach twisted with dread. Did she find out? Did his pathetic guilt finally win? The silence was a physical weight. I imagined her awake, watching him, sensing me in the room. Good. I hope she felt haunted. I hope she understands her space is not her own anymore. He'd better not be thinking of promises he made to her. The only promise that matters is the one he made to me, to our son. She's just the money. Her family's idiotic trust was our greatest asset. No prenup, just a fortune handed over with a smile. They were paying for their own daughter's destruction. It's time. The text finally lit up my screen. I put on the wrap he'd given me, hers originally, and smiled at my reflection. Showtime. I hoped she looked wrecked. I hoped the sight of her tired, trusting face wouldn't make him weak. He couldn't afford to be weak today. His mother called with the update. She bought the whole act. Relief washed over me, sharp and clean. The naive little princess was everything we hoped she'd be. I could just picture his performance. The earnest apology, the regretful eyes. He was a good liar when he had to be. He was doing this for us. Our whole lives, she'd apparently told him. The arrogance of that woman. Her life with him was already over. She just hadn't received the memo. Walking into her building felt like taking back what was mine. His mother was waiting, her face a perfect mask of calm. We were ready. We were a team. The way she cooed over Chloe made my skin crawl with admiration. My sweet girl. A masterful, venomous performance. His mother was a true artist. Then I stepped into the room. I felt his terror and her confusion like a change in air pressure. This was it, the start of the end. I made sure she saw the cashmere wrap first, her wrap on me. My hand rested on my stomach, a silent double declaration of ownership. I saw the panic in his eyes and felt a flash of contempt. He needed to be stronger than this. This was my play and he needed to follow my lead. My cousin. The word was a slap in the face. I am the mother of his heir, and I have to stand here and be a cousin. I smiled my sweetest, deadliest smile. His mother jumped in, her words weaving a safety net around his clumsy lie. I held my breath, watching the wife's face for the slightest crack. Like a sister to Jacob, she purred. I wanted to laugh. I could feel his pleading eyes on me. I wanted to burn this whole pretty apartment to the ground. Please be as stupid as you look. That's all I could think. Just be the clueless, sheltered rich girl for a little while longer. Our future depends on it. I let my eyes fall to the floor, playing the part of the scared, lost girl. Women like her love a charity case. It's a switch you can always flip. She fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. She rushed to my side, offering comfort. You're my sister now. I felt a thrill of victory so sharp it was almost painful. It took everything in me not to laugh in her face. This was going to be easier than I thought. She was too kind, too naive, too weak to win. His mother shot me a look of pure triumph. We had her. The little fool was ours. The power in that moment was dizzying, erasing any trace of guilt. Then her gaze landed on the wrap. That looks familiar. The air crackled. My victory felt suddenly, terrifyingly fragile. My stupid, reckless mistake. I felt my face go white. His mother started chattering, her voice shrill. The plan was unraveling over a piece of designer cashmere. Why don't you let her have it? His mother snapped, trying to reframe the narrative. My heart hammered. This was a disaster. She was going to see right through us. She offered me the damn shawl. Then she mentioned a handbag, and I felt a cold warning prickle my skin. This felt less like kindness and more like a test. When she said Chanel, the pink one, I knew. She knew. She had to. It was the exact bag I'd screamed at him for. This wasn't a gift. This was a trap. But then she returned with it, and all my fear dissolved into ferocious, hungry need. I deserved it. It was a trophy. Proof that I was winning. We're family, she said, and it sounded like a surrender. Jacob just nodded for me to take it. I had won. Her treasures were becoming mine. Breakfast was agonizing. Watching him pretend to love her, listening to her mindless chatter. I just wanted her gone so I could have my life back. The moment she said she was leaving for the office, I could finally breathe. A whole day with her gone. A whole day for our real family in our new home. I watched their phony goodbye with bitter satisfaction. They were both such good actors. It was disgusting. They deserved each other, and I deserved her life. That elevator door slid shut and the act dropped. Freedom. Pure, absolute freedom. I didn't care about her job. I cared that she was finally out of my way. With her gone, the penthouse was ours. I talked about what the baby needed. His mom pushed him about the timeline. This was how it was supposed to be. For a few hours, I let myself live the fantasy. This was my home now. She was just a temporary financial arrangement that had run its course. That $5,000 from their account was just a test, a down payment. It was nothing to her. It proved to me that he would do what was necessary. I needed things. He owed me. The $5,000 was a message before the wedding. You will provide for me and your son no matter what. I never cared how he got the money. His risks were his own problem. A man's job is to provide, and her stupid trust made his job easy. This was all for my son. This was for his future, his birthright. It was the one pure thing in all of this, the lie I told myself until it felt true. Every minute spent waiting in her apartment was a fresh hell. I was so close to having everything, and the fear of losing it all was a constant hum under my skin. I had to keep my eye on the prize, a real home, a father for my child, and Jacob, all to myself. The thought of her face when she lost it all kept me going. We had to keep pushing him. His guilt made him weak. We were the ones with real stakes in this. Our ambition was for our family. He had to remember that. It all came down to the house. That was the finish line. With that deed in our name, he could finally be the man he promised he would be, the father my baby deserved. Everything hinged on this one. Perfect lie. I tried to rest, but the waiting was a weight on my chest. I'd drift off and dream of keys in my hand, of walking through rooms that were finally mine. The thought of him sleeping there, in her bed, was a necessary evil. He said he slept like a rock, safe in the enemy's camp. He saw her as this fragile, trusting thing. It made my stomach clench. He had to believe that for the plan to work, but I knew no woman was ever that simple. I'd lie awake staring at my ceiling, imagining him there. I never once pictured her turning the tables. In my mind, the only eyes on him were mine, watching over our future from a distance. When he'd call, whispering his plans, I felt like we were the only two people in the world. The idea of her listening in, of her even having a thought of her own, felt impossible. She was just a placeholder. He called her predictable, and I needed to believe it. My entire world was balanced on the idea that she was a weak, sheltered fool. I never let myself think that maybe we were the blind ones. He told me she mumbled my name in her sleep once. It gave me a sick thrill, a jolt of victory. I was a ghost in her house, a name on her lips. It meant I was winning. I trusted his confidence completely. It was intoxicating. His lies were the foundation of our new life, and they had to be solid. I needed him to be untouchable, because if he wasn't, what was I? While he was dreaming in her bed, I was dreaming of paint colors for the nursery. I had no idea she was building a cage around him. I thought we were the ones setting the trap. Having to be there when she came home was the worst part. Watching his face shift, putting on that mask for her. I had to sit there, in her house, and pretend I was just a cousin. It was acid in my veins. He kissed her cheek, and I had to look away. A cold, dutiful kiss. It felt like he was kissing a corpse, and I hated him for it, even though I knew it was part of the act. Tough day, honey? I watched her, my smile nailed in place. She was poison. He was standing there between us. The prize in a war she didn't even know she was losing. Our perfect little tableau was about to explode. When she called us her wonderful family, I nearly choked. The lie was suffocating. I focused on the food, on the weight of the baby in my belly. Her ruin was our beginning. The moment she went to her room, I could finally breathe. It was our time now. The three of us, the real family, with the drone of the TV covering our whispers. The air felt electric with what was to come. The click of her bedroom door was our starting gun. His mother's face hardened, and Jacob's eyes met mine. This was it. A thrill went through me, sharp and dangerous. We were so close. She doesn't suspect a thing, his mother said. Jacob scoffed. She's a spoiled idiot. Hearing him say it made me feel powerful. He was choosing me, choosing us. She's wrapped around my finger, he said, and I believed him. But then I started talking about the house, the timeline. The need was clawing at me. His patience felt like a luxury we couldn't afford. He hissed at me to be patient, but how could I be? My whole life was on hold. Listening to him lay out the plan for her parents' dinner felt like torture. Another night of him playing the part of her husband. He explained how he'd act broken, vulnerable, to get what he wanted. I hung on every word. His cruelty was beautiful. It was proof of his love for me. He was tearing her down to build me up. "Brilliant, Jacob," his mother whispered. In our eyes, he was. We talked about the sale, the new house, leaving her with nothing. I could almost feel the new carpets under my feet. I remembered him making that throat-slitting gesture when he promised to clear her out. It wasn't a joke to me. It was a blood oath, a promise that he would erase her completely so our life could begin. Seeing that ruthlessness in him was everything. He was a genius. I talked about closets and nurseries because I needed to make it real. Listening to them plot was listening to the sound of my future being built. The plan was perfect. Make him the victim, get his name on the deed. It had to work. When he told me how he'd perform for her parents, I felt a surge of pride. He was doing this for me, for us. He was in control. He would make her see a broken man, and she would pity him right into our trap. She'd give him everything just to fix the man she thought she had. The thought of it was delicious. Waking up in my own cramped apartment was always a harsh reminder. But then I'd remember the plan, the story, the house, the money. Those words weren't ugly to me. They were a prayer for the life I deserved. I imagined her watching him sleep, thinking he was all hers. The thought made me smile. Let her watch the actor. The real man belonged to me. Every second he deceived her was a victory for us. When he told me how she woke him up, pulling back the covers, my fists clenched. Her voice, her touch on him. I hated it. I had to remind myself it was all just a show. He was playing his part. He said she moved away from his touch. A tiny part of me soared. That little bit of distance was a crack in her armor. When he mentioned using his mother's gifts, I knew he was still in control. His mother's cheap gifts were a stroke of genius. It was about crafting a story, making them look like the victims. Walking into that perfect dining room, I felt like an actress on a set. I sat in her chair at the head of the table. It felt right. I belonged there. When his mother gave her that fake sweet smile, I had to hide my own. The first act was beginning. His mother's comment about diner food was perfect. I watched Chloe's eyes fall on those awful plastic bags, the cheap whiskey. I saw the disappointment she tried to hide, and I knew she was hooked. Are those the gifts? The question we were waiting for. I watched him look away, playing the part of the ashamed husband. Mom said older people like practical things. He was so good. "You know I give you my paycheck, honey." A masterpiece. He handed her his pathetic salary while I knew about the cash he bled from her for 100 other things. It was a beautiful, perfect lie. It was my cue. I jumped in to defend him, to call out her family's obsession with appearances. For that one moment, we were a team, united against her. It was everything I ever wanted. But then she laughed. It was a light, easy sound, and it terrified me. It wasn't in the script. I saw her glance at my stomach, and my blood ran cold. The whole world tilted. Cousin Jessica has a point. Her voice was cheerful, but it felt like a threat. She was twisting my words, turning our trap back on us, and we had no choice but to walk into it. I watched her walk to that case full of liquor, and I hated her. I hated her money, her house, her confidence. She was taking back control, and I felt sick with envy and rage. "These are from Jacob." She put the expensive bottles on the table, and the air went out of the room. It wasn't a gift. It was a statement, a reminder of who he belonged to, whose money was whose. His mother gasped, "Isn't it a waste?" And I wanted to scream. The old woman was so transparent, so greedy. She was showing our whole hand, ruining the subtlety of the plan. But Chloe was better than all of us. She framed it as Jacob's honor, his respect for her father. She was painting him into a corner, using his own pride against him. It was brilliant. and I hated her for it. Right, Jacob? She handed the knife to him, and he had to take it. I watched him force a smile, agreeing to give away what felt like our money. He had to keep playing the part. My hands were fists in my lap. My fury was a hot, solid thing in my chest. We were being played by the fool we'd come to rob, and our best weapons were being driven away in her expensive car. I hope he's remembering his lines. He's in her car now, that ridiculous silver boat her daddy bought. He'd better be selling it. He has to fix this. He has to make this work for us. He'd be starting the silence now. The long, heavy pause we practiced. Every second he waits is a knife in her perfect, clueless heart. Let her see the pain. Our pain. She'd be asking what's wrong. Of course she would. The patron saint of gentle concern. It's so easy to be kind when your life is perfect. Now, Jacob, say the words. He's telling me it worked. He used the line about being in pain. It's not a lie. The shame of being with her, of hiding me, of course it's pain. He just has to aim it correctly. I can picture him turning on her at a red light. The sudden stop, the manufactured drama. Use that anger you feel when you leave my bed to go home to hers. Make it real. He's telling her he's not good enough. It's the perfect line because it's true, just not in the way she thinks. He's not good enough to just leave her and be with me. He's using the gold digger line now, my favorite. Let her feel the sting of what her world thinks of him. Make her the villain. Make her the one who has to save him from herself. A living hell. Yes, that's what he called it when he was with me last night. It's not her family's wealth that's the hell, it's her. The fact that she exists. He just texted. It's not working. She's giving him Hallmark card bullshit instead of a solution. Don't listen to them? Is she kidding me? My stomach just dropped through the floor. Our love is what matters. I want to scream. Easy for her to say from inside a $10 million fortress. He's losing control of the conversation, and I'm losing my mind. He's trying to pivot. Good. Make it about his pride. Her precious love isn't enough to fix the humiliation. She has to understand that this is about more than feelings. It's about winning. Someone else's roof. Perfect. A direct hit. Make her feel the shame of it. Make her feel small in her own gigantic house. He has to make her feel guilty enough to act. She's shutting him down, changing the subject, taking him to her parents. It's over. He failed. That ice-cold dread is crawling up my back. She's stronger than he thought. He's admitting defeat. The rage I feel is so sharp it's hard to breathe. He's playing the good little husband now, walking into her family's trap, and leaving me here with nothing. I can just see him, driving up to that palace. Her father, the king, patting him on the shoulder like a pet. He's walking in there alone. He's going to break. He's going to choose them. He's probably smiling that fake smile I hate, handing over gifts we can't afford, calling her dad sir. The whole pathetic performance makes my skin crawl with secondhand shame. He just swore he'd never let anything harm her. The irony is so thick I could choke on it. I am the harm. We are. And he's toasting to her safety with her father. She dismissed the gift. Of course. Her type always does that passive-aggressive thing. Their happiness is enough. She has no idea what he needs to be happy, who he needs. He's texting me pictures of the house, the art, the endless space. He's torturing me with it. That's not their kingdom. It's supposed to be ours. He'd better not forget that. He's starting. He just texted showtime. The slammed glass, the calculated chaos. This is it. Plan B. It's desperate, but it might just be crazy enough to work. Don't fail me now, Jacob. They're falling for it. Her father's concerned. The tears are working. I wish I could see it. I wish I could watch him break them down piece by piece for me. He's on his knees. So humiliating, so perfect. He's telling me they're eating it up. Beg for me, baby. Beg for our future. A little dignity is a small price to pay. He's refusing to stand. Yes, hold the position. Stay the victim. The more they beg him to get up, the more power he has. He's finally in control. He's using all the lines. A better man. Kept man. He's twisting every insecurity into a weapon and pointing it right at them. He's making his weakness a blade. Her father is angry. At the gossip, not at him. Perfect. He hooked the old man right through his pride. Now reel him in. Reel him in for us. I can't let them say my wife married a failure. A masterstroke. He's not asking for himself. He's asking for her honor, for the family name. They can't refuse that. The IOU, the final brilliant move. It makes him look noble, desperate, honorable. It's a promise he'll never have to keep. He's not asking for a handout. He's begging for a chance. My home, too. Those 3 words are everything. The entire point of this whole nightmare. He's so close I can taste it. My heart is hammering against my ribs. He thinks it's genius. I think it's terrifyingly risky. But his text is vibrating with triumph. He thinks they're falling for it. Please let him be right. Please let this be over. The IOU is nothing, just paper. He's right. Family doesn't collect on debts like that. It's flawless. He's gonna win. We are gonna win. His phone just buzzed. We're in. The mother is crying. She called him a dear boy. They're adding his name. The relief is so intense it makes me dizzy. He did it. $10 million. I can't even process the number. But he did it. He actually did it. He chose me. He chose this. The world just cracked wide open. Wait, another text. Chloe just stood up. Her smile is fake. He sounds scared. What is she doing? Why isn't she crying too? My blood runs cold. She's agreeing, too easily. It's a trap. It has to be a trap. This isn't right. You don't win this easily, not against someone like her. My hands are shaking. An IOU is just paper. She's using his own logic against him. Oh my God, she's not stupid. She's been playing a different game this entire time, a much, much smarter one. She's twisting the knife, saying the gossip will get worse. She's taking his victory and turning it to ash in his mouth. What is she doing? What is her play? He says her father is just watching, like he's waiting for the kill shot. This was planned. They planned this. He walked right into an ambush, and he took me with him. Buy your half, with cash. The words on my phone screen don't seem real. $5 million. It's a joke. A cruel, impossible joke. She won. She just beat us. Another text. An investment? A government contract? What is this? She's not just shutting him down. She's offering him a different door. I don't trust this. I don't trust her. 300% return. It's impossible. It's a lie. But the greed is a physical thing. A hot knot in my stomach. What if it's real? What if this is the real prize? She's offering him her slot, portraying it as a sacrifice. You deserve this chance. She's flattering his ego, dangling the bait right in front of his face. Don't take it, Jacob. Please don't. Now she's performing for her father, begging him to help the man she just trapped. She's a snake, a beautiful, smiling, venomous snake, and Jacob is charmed. The father said no. Of course he did. It's part of the act, the manufactured scarcity. Make the prize seem more valuable by making it harder to get. They are so much better at this than we are. He's falling for it. The refusal is what's selling him. He's blinded by the money. He's not thinking about the trap, only the bait. We're losing everything right now. He's begging. He's actually begging for them to take his money. He just texted me. The father said yes, we're ruined. And he thinks we just won the lottery. He sent me $5,000. Just before my world went quiet, I saw the wire transfer hit. Then he called, talking about $1 million. I could hear the hunger in his voice, the same hunger I felt. He needed this, and that meant we needed this. It was for our house. When he said he'd borrow it, my heart seized. Her voice was in the background, a smooth poison talking about a short-term loan, helping him. She wanted his name on the deed, she said, but I knew she was putting a leash around his neck and pulling it tight. A loan shark was my idea. I'll have it in 3 days, he promised. I felt a surge of pride. He was fighting for us, for our future. He was finally choosing me. Then he told me about the document. She pulled it out right there, talking about compliance. It felt like a trap I couldn't see. He called it a post-nup, a formality. He said she just wanted to separate the debt. He was so naive. It was never just about the debt. If one of us cheats, they leave with nothing. He repeated her words to me. It wasn't about him cheating on her. It was about him being with me. I knew what that paper meant. It was a weapon aimed directly at me, at our baby. If she knew, he'd be ruined, and I would be left alone. He told me he hesitated, thinking of me, of the baby. But the money was a siren song, pulling him toward the rocks, pulling both of us. She'll never find out, he whispered over the phone. I had to believe him. The risk felt like a phantom. The reward felt like my whole life. He signed it without reading. He actually told me that, proud of his trust in her. All I could feel was a cold dread coiling in my stomach. He was high on it all, driving home, talking about becoming gods. For the first time, I felt like we could actually win, that I could have it all. She went to bed early. Good. He needed to be with his real family. He called for his mom and me. It was time for us to make our own plans. In the quiet of that room, he laid it all out. His mother's eyes were wild. "What's the plan, son?" she asked. She was looking at me. He scoffed at her name on the deed. "It means nothing," he said. He was going to turn 1 million into 3. He was going to buy our freedom. His mom's greed was a mirror of my own. The house, the money, her kid, she breathed. But then fear crept in. $1 million was impossible. I put my hand on my stomach. "The 50,000 you sent," I said, my voice shaking. "It's here. I saved it for us. Take it." That's when he kissed me. His mother found her nerve. "I'll get what I can," she vowed. She was going to shake down our family tree for every last cent, for us. "It won't be enough," he snapped. Then his eyes lit up, and I knew he was thinking about my idea. The loan sharks, the dark path to our dream. "We'll get a real mansion," he promised me. The 3 of us, we were a desperate little cabal, high on the fantasy of her ruin and our rise. We laughed, and it felt like we were already there. This was for our baby, I told myself. It was the only way I could stomach the things we were doing. The next day, he made the calls. Every risk he took for us was a declaration of love, drowning out the guilt that clawed at the back of my throat. I'd look down at my own body, changing, and know this was for him, our son. She was just an obstacle, a bank account we had to empty to get home. He had to pretend with her, and every text he sent me about it felt like a secret victory. I could feel the pressure building in him, and I knew it was for me. He told me he wrote "husband" on the ultrasound form. In that moment, the cheap ring on her finger meant nothing. I was his wife, in every way that mattered. He was planning a wedding and a life with me at the same time. I tried not to think about the betrayal. I thought of it as a strategy for our survival. That $50,000 was our seed money, our down payment on a new life. We just needed the other $950,000. It felt so close. "She's just my ATM," he texted. The words were a balm on my jealousy. It was proof that I was the one he loved, and she was just a tool. "When do we get the house?" I'd ask. I had to keep him focused. I had to keep the drumbeat of our future louder than the whispers of his conscience. He promised me her name would be gone, that he'd make her disappear. It was just angry, empty talk, but a part of me thrilled to hear it. Idiot, a TM. He used these words for her, and they became my armor. I was fighting for my family. She was just collateral. I let him use her money on me. A nice dinner, clothes for the baby. It felt like taking back what was rightfully mine. A strange, twisted justice. He was so good at playing the part. The sweet, devoted man. He had to be, for us. The lie was our shield, protecting the truth of our love. Sometimes he'd mention a look in her eyes, a quietness. I told him it was just his guilt. I couldn't let him think she was onto us. He met the first shark. He told me how he had to agree to the terms, his voice tight with fear. I held my breath, praying he was strong enough. We were walking through fire together, but I could see the paradise on the other side. A home, a family, just us. It had to be real. It was a brutal, beautiful plan. He was using her own money to get the loan he needed to take everything from her. She was paying for her own destruction. He signed more papers he didn't read. The details didn't matter. All that mattered was the money hitting the account. The key to our new life. They take a finger if you're late, he told me, trying to laugh it off. The fear was real, but our desperation was so much bigger. He was terrified and electrified all at once. His mother was begging relatives for cash, while he was making deals with criminals. All for me. He said she was distant, lost in her own world. He thought it was work. I just thought she was oblivious. I never imagined she was the one with the plan. He'd look at his own empty bank account and the rage would fill him up. That rage was our fuel. It was going to get us out, get us everything. He told me about her mother's emeralds. They'd look better on you, he said, and I could see it. Me, wearing her jewels, living in her house. I deserved it. I stood by him. I was carrying his son. All she ever did was write checks. There had to be a difference. I had to be worth more. I watched him spin his story, calling it a masterpiece. It wasn't art to me. It was air. The only air I had left to breathe. Every time the phone rang, my stomach would clench. I watched him waiting for his mother's call, and the weight of it felt like it was crushing me, too. He told me about some papers her lawyer wrote. I didn't want to see them. I just focused on the number he kept repeating, 300%. A number that could finally make me real. He talked about the penthouse like it was a promise. My kingdom, he said. It wasn't about the view, it was about finally being the queen, not the secret on the side. It's a sure thing, he'd tell his mom and then me, his eyes begging me to believe him. I nodded every time. Believing was all I had. Sometimes I'd let myself picture it standing on that balcony high above everything. The fantasy was so potent it almost made me forget how terrified I was. Using her money to build our life. It didn't feel wrong. It felt like balancing the scales. She had the world. I just wanted him. That whole day, the house felt like a tomb. I watched him try to smile, to act normal, but I could see the raw fear flickering in his eyes. The sound of his mother's car was like a gunshot. My heart hammered as he ran to meet her, a prayer caught in my throat. Please, please, please. She looked like she'd crawled through hell, clutching that dirty bag. I got it, she whispered, her voice like glass as she rushed to pull the curtains closed. I was the one who went to them, to our family. I sold them a beautiful lie about a mansion, and they gave me their crumpled savings, their hope, in a stained tote bag. I looked at the cash, their entire lives in a pile on the table. 300,000, his mom said, like it was a winning lottery ticket. It wasn't even close to what we needed. His voice dropped, conspiratorial and thin. I found a guy, he told us, on the south side. They call him Frankie the Razor. The name made the room go cold. I saw his mother's face drain of color. Jacob, that's a loan shark. I knew it. A knot of pure ice formed in my gut, because I knew he was going to do it anyway. There's no other way, he yelled, his panic making his voice sharp. He had to keep the lie going, for them, for me, for himself. This is our chance, I whispered. And I meant it. I pictured her, Chloe, on her knees shining my shoes. The thought was ugly, and it was the only thing keeping me going. As he drove away to meet that man, I told myself he was doing what a real man does. He was fighting for us. He wasn't a desperate fool. He was my champion. He'd kissed her goodbye. A lie about a client. He told me later, and the casual cruelty of it, the image of his lips on her skin, made me sick with a jealousy so deep it burned. He was obsessed with proving himself to her world. I just wanted him to prove himself to me, to finally choose me once and for all. Be careful, son, his mom begged before he left. I couldn't speak. He was gambling with her life, with my life, and the headache was unbearable. For 2 hours, the world stopped. I just sat there, picturing a smoky room and a man with a scarred face. I was waiting for my real life to finally start. He said the man stared at him like he was nothing. $650,000. The price was monstrous, a devil's bargain for a chance at a normal life. $1 million back in 30 days. The words echoed in my head. He told me he said yes without flinching, and I loved him and hated him for it. He even tried using her father's name for protection. The man just laughed at him. In that world, she didn't matter, and a tiny, bitter part of me was glad. They made him sign in blood. They filmed it to humiliate him, to own him. He endured it all for me, and I told myself that made it noble. He came back not ashamed, but electric with the thrill of it. He clutched that bag of cash like a god, convinced he had won. I chose to believe him. The debt was all his. He swaggered in, pale and shaking, but acting like a king. He had the money, our money. He didn't come to me. He went to her, dropping the bags on her table. A performance. "Chloe, I did it. I got the $1 million. Shouting it for her to hear. Her smile was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, he told me. His words were a shard of glass in my heart. He had bled for me, but he was still desperate for her light. He promised her anything. I knew that when he left for her father's office the next morning, he was walking into her world, and I was terrified he might never come back. I woke up that morning floating on hope. He was becoming a millionaire, our millionaire. Today was the day I would finally be chosen over her. It wasn't a penthouse office. It was a sterile room with a man in a cheap suit. He said the title was Head of Compliance. It sounded cold and final. He was playing a part he didn't know the lines to, nodding along to talk of shell companies, trying so hard to look like he belonged in her world. 30 days, 300%. He said it was the only thing he heard, the only thing that mattered. The paperwork was just a nuisance on the way to our victory. I pictured his hand shaking as he signed his name, over and over, feeling her eyes on him. He told me he felt nothing but pride. He hadn't signed an investment. He'd signed a confession. He gave her every penny, a gift with no strings. He didn't just lose the dream. He'd paid her to take it. For weeks, we lived in that beautiful lie. We planned a future that was never coming. I was floating on a cloud, completely unaware of the long fall to earth. I saw the way she looked at me with that quiet, knowing smile. I thought it was the envy of a woman who was about to lose. I was such a fool. He came home to a house that was dead silent. He told me he heard her voice from the bedroom, and it sounded like a stranger's, cold and sharp. I was just trying on her necklace, just for a moment to see how it felt. Then she was there, her face a mask of stone, and behind her, I saw him. My blood went cold. "Does my necklace fit you well?" she asked, her voice dripping with a satisfaction that terrified me. I had been caught in her trap. I fumbled with the clasp, stammering her name, but I saw the look on her face. It wasn't anger, it was triumph. Pure, cold triumph. He stood there, looking between his furious wife and his panicked cousin. "Take it off," she ordered, and in her voice I heard my entire future crumbling to dust. The instant Jacob's fingers touched my neck to remove her property, I saw my only way out. Panic became a strategy. I went limp, clutched my belly, and I screamed from my soul. "He pushed me! My baby! He's trying to kill our baby!" His mother burst in and saw the scene I had created. She didn't hesitate. She flew past her son and slammed Chloe into the wall. "She's pregnant," she howled. "If you hurt my grandchild, I will kill you." I just stared at him. He was furious at me. Because his cousin, his little tramp, had her hands all over him, and I'd had the nerve to exist. The hypocrisy was so pure, it was almost beautiful. A cold, quiet certainty settled in my bones. When he called me poison, I didn't even flinch. It was the last piece of the puzzle clicking into place. I just let my face go blank. He thought my silence was surrender. He had no idea about the tiny red light in the corner, my only real friend in this house. He thought this was his victory. A smile found my lips, and I felt the chill of it myself. "You're right to be concerned," I said, my voice sweet as arsenic. "You should stick close to her, because in 2 days, at Dad's party, I'm giving everyone a gift they will talk about for the rest of their lives." The next 48 hours were a study in control. While he buzzed with pathetic ambition, I finalized the presentation. Tonight, at the St. Regis, in the grand ballroom my father had booked, I wasn't just throwing a party, I was staging an execution. Listening through the door, I heard them, giddy with greed. 30 days. It had taken me exactly 30 days to build this perfect, beautiful cage for them. They thought tonight was their arrival. They had no idea it was their end. When I came downstairs, he barely looked at me. His eyes were glued to his mother, squeezed into a cheap, screaming red dress that was an insult to the color. She looked like a fire sale at a brothel. Then I saw Jessica, her belly, his child, stuffed into some glittery monstrosity, and around her neck, my mother's emeralds. On her finger, the pink diamond Dad gave me. My breath caught. The rage was a physical thing, a hot spike behind my eyes. "You look like a millionaire's wife," his mother crowed, and the sound was like nails on a chalkboard. Jessica touched the necklace, my necklace, and tilted her chin up. That arrogance, that was the fuel. I let it burn. I heard her whisper, "Jacob, you get that house. Don't you back down." The sheer nerve of it. Standing in my parents' home, wearing my jewelry, planning to steal the rest, the disgust was so total, it brought me a strange kind of peace. He smoothed his hair, puffed out his chest in that ridiculous new tux, a king in a rented castle. In front of everyone, he declared, "They won't dare say no." Oh, you poor, stupid fool. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. I appeared in the doorway and arranged my face into a smile. For a second, I caught my own reflection and saw a stranger looking back. "Ready?" I chirped, the sound leaving a bad taste in my mouth. "We can't keep Daddy waiting." He rushed over, his hand on my arm a brand of his betrayal. "You look amazing, honey." The lie was so practiced, so easy for him. In the limo, I watched the city lights paint stripes across his face while he dreamed of a future I was about to burn to the ground. My heart wasn't pounding. It was beating slow and steady, a drum counting down the seconds. We arrived at 10. The ballroom was stunning, a sea of my family's friends and colleagues. My stage was set. Watching his mother and cousin walk in was like watching zoo animals escape into an art gallery. Their eyes were wide with a tacky, desperate hunger. "It's a palace," his mother breathed, drooling over the lobster tower. And Jessica, all pretense of shyness gone, puffed out her chest to show off my emeralds. My parents greeted us, my mother's smile tight, my father's eyes holding mine for a fraction of a second. We were ready. "Take your mother and cousin to the VIP table," Mom said, playing her part beautifully. He swelled with pride. VIP. Yes, a very important pawn. I watched him seat the architects of my misery at the best table in the house. He couldn't even wait. "Dad, I have news," he announced, his voice dripping with false humility. "The investment paid off. Today, I prove I'm worthy." The whispers started. Perfect. Let them wonder. I saw the contempt flicker in my father's eyes before he masked it. "Ambition is good, Jacob," he said, his voice laced with a warning only I could understand. "But a man needs to know his place. We'll talk later." He dismissed him, and Jacob took it as a challenge. He felt 10 feet tall. I needed him on that pedestal. The fall had to be long enough for him to see everything he was losing on the way down. At noon, he made his move. He didn't wait to be called. He walked right up on that stage and snatched the microphone from the MC. It was almost poetic. He was seizing the instrument of his own destruction. The room quieted. Every eye on him. "Friends," he began, his voice echoing, "I'm Jacob Davis, and I have a priceless gift for my father-in-law and for my beloved wife, Chloe." Beloved. The word felt like a slap. I saw his mother clapping, Jessica already on her feet. He looked right at me. "A month ago, I risked our last $1 million on a project." Our $1 million. The money my grandfather left me. Today, that risk turned into $3 million. I'm not just repaying a debt. I'm buying my share of our home. I want everyone to witness me. He was so proud, so utterly, hopelessly blind. It was a hell of a speech, I'll give him that. The applause was polite, confused, He stared down at me, a challenge in his eyes, expecting me to what? Weep with gratitude? I let him see my smile then, the real one, the one I'd been hiding for 2 days, and I watched the triumph in his eyes curdle into fear. I let the knot of ice in my stomach finally begin to melt. My show was about to begin. I stood and walked to the stage, feeling hundreds of pairs of eyes on me. I took the microphone from his hand. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said, my voice perfectly calm, "you all heard my husband. He's done so much, so I have a gift, too, for my good husband, my good mother-in-law, and my good cousin." I let my eyes find Jessica and felt the delicious shift as the entire room turned to stare at her. Panic flashed across his face. "Honey, what is this? Let's talk at home." I smiled right at him. "At home? Oh no. A surprise like this is so much better when you have an audience." I turned to the tech booth and snapped my fingers. "Roll the presentation." The screen behind us lit up, bathing us in its cold electronic glow as the ballroom lights went down. Not a birthday montage, an ultrasound, huge, patient, Jessica Miller. And at the bottom, those 2 beautiful, damning words, spouse signature, Jacob Davis. You could feel the air leave the room in one collective gasp. The whispers ignited like wildfire. "Isn't that his cousin? It says husband. Oh my God, the mistress is pregnant." I watched the blood drain from his face. He stumbled back, grabbing for the mic. "It's fake," he croaked, his voice shattering. "Chloe, it's a setup. That's not me." "I don't know her." The lie died on his lips. I saw his mother collapse, a heap of red sequins on the floor, and Jessica clutching that belly, her face a mask of pure terror. It was finally, beautifully, over. He was trying to laugh it off, but my voice cut through the noise, cold and sharp. Then the speakers came alive, not with music, but with their own vile words, filling the stunned silence. It was them. Every greedy whispered plot from the day he married me, now echoing for everyone to hear. His mother, Jessica. Their plans laid bare. Then his own voice talking about me, about a tragic accident. The silence in the room became a physical weight. It was the sound of judgment. Everything becomes mine. The words hung in the air, toxic and undeniable. I watched our friends, our family, look at him not with confusion, but with pure revulsion. They were finally seeing the man I saw. It was chaos. Someone screamed for the police. My father's security team moved in, forming a calm, solid wall around us. His whole world had just shrunk to the size of a stage. He was on the ground. I don't even remember him falling. He was clinging to my leg, babbling. They made me say it, "Chloe, I love you." The words meant less than nothing. "For the 3 million, he wept, still obsessed. "The house." I looked down at this pathetic creature at my feet, and the disgust was so profound, I used my shoe to push him off me. 3 million? I laughed, and the sound was sharp, brittle. "You're still dreaming." And on the screen, a new video played, a face he knew from his nightmares. 1 million in 30 days, the loan shark's voice boomed through the ballroom, "or I take a leg." And then the close-up of my husband's bloody thumbprint on the contract. "That secret project, Jacob?" I leaned into the mic, my voice ablade. "That was me, my company. I set a little trap just for you." I watched his mind break. "It wasn't an investment," I said, twisting that blade. "It was a gift to a loan shark. You'll never see a single penny." He made a sound, a wounded, guttural noise, and looked at my father, his last hope. "Tell her it's not real," he begged. My father just looked at him with cold, quiet pity. He still didn't get it. He was never one of us. His voice was ice. That $1 million wasn't for us. And my world just ended. She had won. A paper floated down. "Remember this?" she said, her voice silk. "I saw his signature. I saw the trap. All debt is yours." I wanted to scream. "The house," I choked out. "Why the debt?" Her calm smile was a knife. "A mortgage. $30 million, she whispered. The number was a black hole. My mind snapped. Our dream was an empty, debt-filled grave. The mob, my family, gone. He was coming for me. Then the doors burst open. It was him, Frankie. She had planned this whole nightmare. My time was up. He saw Jacob kneeling and just smirked. Frankie grabbed him by the hair. "My million," he growled. Jacob just trembled. I felt my own shame burn the floor. Then he looked at me. He pointed at me, at my mother. "They have it! Her jewels!" He wasn't my lover, not my future, just a coward throwing me to the wolves for his skin. The chain ripped against my neck. She screamed my name like a curse. I prayed it was enough. His face was pure rage. He slapped her. "Stupid bitch," he spat. $30 of glass? It was fake. I stared at the worthless thing. Her voice dripped poison. "My family's heirlooms? You got a broke con man who owes the mob $1 million. That sentence shattered me. I launched myself at him, a raw scream. "You liar, my 50 grand. I was feral. He hit me back. We were just animals on the floor. "It's your fault," I shrieked. Then my mother was on us, her nails digging in. "My 300,000. Our pathetic, greedy family. It was just noise and blood. Then a new sound cut through it all. Sirens. They were here. "Police." The word froze everything. They called our names. Jacob, Martha, Jessica. It was over. I saw her nod to the detective. I felt the cold click of the handcuffs. My world was gone. "Jacob Davis, you're under arrest." He looked at her, his eyes begging. I was wrong. "Please," he whimpered. I saw pity in her eyes, not hate. It was worse. "You made your choice." Silence. Then I heard her father hold her. I heard applause. For her, the new executive vice president. 15 years. The judge's voice was distant. My life was over. The debt and the lies were all I had left. He'll get out a broken man. I heard his mother is in a psychiatric facility now, lost her mind. I got a suspended sentence, but the men he owed found me. Now I have nothing, just his baby and a life of running. I'm hiding somewhere in this city, living a ghost life. The divorce went through. She is finally free. I don't see the skyline anymore. There's no future. Just the slow, quiet rot of the prison I chose. In this small, quiet room, there's no beginning. There is only the long, slow end of a life.